I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker today, our Sheriff of Anoka County, James Stuart.
Across our great nation, in 2014, 117 peace officers died while serving their communities. This week, their names will be added to the 20,538 names already carved in our hearts and on the Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C. So far in 2015, 42 of our protectors have died in the line of duty. In law enforcement circles, we have always paused to recognize those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, in service to others. Our protectors and their families are well aware of the inherent dangers of the job. They understand that on any given day, it might be necessary to lay down their own lives in order to protect another. Historically, our communities have also rallied alongside of our peacekeepers and even shared in the pain when an officer was violently taken from us. A few years ago, shortly after that fateful day we all referred to as 9/11, there were parades and celebrations for the officers, the heroes that walked the line for that city. Yet in recent months, we see videos of those same streets where citizens have lined up for those same officers, those same heroes, to literally spit on them and swear at them. Like most people, I found myself concerned by the events unfolding across our nation in recent months. Specifically, it troubles me greatly when I see individuals inspiring division between our citizenry and those who have sworn an oath to serve and protect those same citizens. These days, we look to Ferguson, Baltimore, New York, or Hattiesburg as examples and wonder what went wrong. The questions involved are numerous and legitimate, but the answers are highly complex. While I do not profess to know the intricacies of the police and community relations in those cities, the message sent to our nation's law enforcement has been disheartening. You see, I have had the opportunity over the course of my career to meet and work with law enforcement professionals from all across this region and all across our nation. And I can tell you with confidence that the vast majority of our nation's peacekeepers are honest, caring men and women of sound character. They're mothers and fathers, daughters and sons who have willingly raised their hands and swore an oath to serve others. They've also sworn an oath to protect others, even if that means that they may need to lay down their own lives to accomplish that task. It is not an easy job, and I am very appreciative of every one of our nation's peacekeepers who walk the line on our home front to maintain civility and protect our families. Having said that, I acknowledge that of the 900,000 law enforcement officers in our nation who engage in millions of contacts every single day, that there are mistakes made, that there are some who do not deserve to wear the badge. And as long as humans are involved in this process, there will be deficiencies involving character and unacceptable behavior. Any industry can illustrate that point, most on much larger scales than law enforcement. Please hear me clearly. Those individuals who would tarnish the badge must be held accountable and driven out of this honorable and noble profession. But within the law enforcement community, we have sought to improve our screening, our hiring, and our training standards to improve accountability and transparency, and ultimately to ensure that we hold ourselves to a higher standard in service to our communities. And the law enforcement community needs to continue raising the bar in service and committing to meet or exceed the expectations of our citizens that we proudly serve. However, we all own a portion of this systemic breakdown in current trends. We need to partner with our law enforcement for the good of our communities. As a society, we can support our protectors by understanding that they desire to serve and protect each and every one of us without malice. You see, if you actually take the time to look at the real statistical data across this nation, this is not about race. This is about perception. But because passion has filtered into the discussions due to perceived iniquities, the walls are up, the tempers are flaring, and the solutions are drawing further and further away, because perception is each person's own reality. So I ask today that you help me to cast a new perception and a new reality. It is a fairly easy one to embrace, especially if you care about people, about your community, and about our nation. The message needs to be that we are all in this together. We all need to come together to pursue positive outcomes. You see, I can stand here today and tell you honestly that I do not care about the color of your skin, your orientation, your gender, or any other thing that merely serves as a descriptor. Instead, and I would say we, as a law enforcement community, only care and respond to your actions, about your contribution to or your attack on our society, typically based on the content of your character. We are all fortunate to live in a region where we have a long history of positive interactions with our law enforcement community. And similarly, I am privileged to serve as the sheriff in a county in which our law enforcement community works very well together, cares about our citizens, and strives to serve as ambassadors wherever we are able, while treating everyone with respect, equality, and fairness. We will continue to serve our citizens with pride, professionalism, and honor. And within the Sheriff's Office, we have a slogan, working together for positive change. Our law enforcement partners have joined us in this mission on many fronts. And it is my prayer that our citizens will also join us as we seek to embrace positive relationships and interactions so that Anoka County continues to set the example for others to follow. But these are difficult times. Our protectors encounter hate on a daily basis. They are immersed in criticism. They generally feel a lack of support. I don't think this is truly a national epidemic yet, but remember, perception is reality, and it is having a distinct impact on our law enforcement community. We as a nation need to consider the long-term ramifications of systematically dehumanizing and demonizing those who have willingly chosen to accept a calling to serve us. My concern is that in the long run, those that are called to serve will ignore the calling. The good-hearted people I've been speaking about will no longer desire the responsibility if their service is literally spat upon. The successful future of law enforcement is critical and will have an impact, a direct impact on the future of America. And we must work together to ensure that this intertwined path serves our citizens well. That is why we must resist creating systemic distrust of our nation's law enforcement that is wrong and misguided. We need our leaders to step up and lead in positive directions. We need citizens to unite and work with our law enforcement to pursue positive change. And good people need to stop being silent. We collectively need to become intolerant of intolerance. Ponder that for a second. You see, we need to come together. And those who seek to demoralize our protectors will not break the resolve of America's law enforcement. While hate mongers and society's miscreants choose to simplify the issues by damning America's law enforcement, these same men and women who protect us still get up every day, put on their shields, and go out and protect and serve according to their oaths. You see, they have faced evil on a daily basis, and unfortunately, they are not surprised by the disdain for their existence. But they remain good-hearted people nonetheless. They remain our public servants who walk that line between normalcy and evil. They remain our protectors who strike the balance between civility and chaos. Matthew 5:9 tells us that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Why? Because being a peace officer is not just a job. Being willing to serve others, being willing to work holidays and nights at the expense of your family, being willing to put yourself in danger to protect others, and being willing to lay down your own life for another. It's not a job, it is a calling. And for those who accept that call, thank you. For the families who understand why their sacrifice is necessary, thank you. For the nation that stands up to support those who work tirelessly and thanklessly to keep us safe, thank you. For those protectors who are no longer with us, who have made the ultimate sacrifice on our behalf, who exemplify what it means to love people so much that you would do whatever it takes to get the job done. Thank you so much. Today we gather because we cannot forget their sacrifice. As a nation, we should not entertain those who seek to create division through the spreading of hate. We should not tolerate the separation of our communities. We should not stand for villainizing those who serve as our sheepdogs, those who willingly put themselves in harm's way while protecting our flock every day from the wolves. Instead, we need to come together. We need to heal together. We need to stand together. And we need to pursue positive change together. See, whether we have success stories or failures in our future, rest assured, We are all in this together. Thank you.